WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots. All right, everybody. It is Friday night. It's time to kick off Friday Night Freedom. How the heck is everybody, man? It's been a super long week. I don't remember a week quite like this last week. Both in the stuff in the news, stuff in my personal life. Work was really, really good. I don't mind it that work is hard. I do kind of appreciate it when work is hard. But a good cap off to the weekend was last night. The Texas Storm Chasers, they have a photographer on their staff, and they took a picture of the Dallas skyline with the harvest moon rising. And dude, that is a beautiful, beautiful sight. That is a really awesome picture. I thought I'd share it with you. Hopefully, you guys had some clear skies where you live, and you could see that big ass moon rising in the distance when the sun went down, man. That was really something beautiful. Anyway, here we are, and guess who's joining with me? I got the POOKY.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome, man. I got you on the video.
Oh no!
I don't even
video
know,
appearance ever.
I don't even know if people know what you look like.
Awesome. This is literally my first time being on camera.
Outstanding. I know we have a lot of still shots for you. There's a lot of still shots of you.
Yeah, I do take some pretty funky pictures.
I mean, I think my favorite, is you standing in the middle of the woods with a shotgun. Is that in the kitchen with the shotgun and a robe?
Oh yeah, that was.
That's like your daily wear.
Yeah, I guess. No, not so much now. I mean, I'm not living in the woods anymore. I kind of moved into the city and civilized a little bit, so I can't do things like that.
You gotta have some kind of decorum when you're around other people, right?
Oh yeah. Especially around. Let's see, I live with my family now, so I got to be mellow. I can't be crazy like I used to be.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. You don't have those very tolerant roommates that you used to have.
Exactly.
So today is the second day of December, 2020. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the year.
Oh, thank God.
It's crazy. This year has gone by. It's been a blur. Normally when I'm busy, things are like a blur, but things are kind of slowed down socially. My job hasn't slowed down too much, but time has just cruised on by. It's faster than I ever thought that it could go. Hey Holly, how you doing? Glad to see you. So last night. Was it last night? It was last night. President Trump, everybody who has been watching the news or paying attention, both President Trump and his wife Melania, they both tested positive for the Rona. And earlier yesterday, I think it was his name, John Legend, and his wife, Chrissy Teigen.
Oh yeah, that's a sad story.
She had a miscarriage. So all those people that were Ice posted this. I should pull up his little his blurb, but it's just crazy how people bitching and complaining, like wishing the worst on people. People saying mean things towards Chrissy Teigen for losing her baby. And then, those people that were complaining about people giving her a hard time and John Legend a hard time are wishing the absolute worst for President Trump and Melania. It's nuts, man. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. I
had some screenshots to show y'all, but my brain's not there today. I apologize.
It's I think everybody knows, there's just that. It's so bitter out there, and it's really it's disheartening. It's very it's just a huge bummer, man. And I think that even after the election is over, this is not going to stop. It's just going to be this vitriol, this side against that side. The thing is, we're all Americans, and people have lost sight of that. I've lived a long time. I've lived through several different presidents. I'm still here. Your life is not going to end just because your person did not get elected president.
I totally agree with that. I mean, like I said, some of the things that I saw just made me go, "You actually said this." I guess people forget there's this thing called karma. Very bad.
I mean, news organizations like in Minneapolis were just digging in and just going, basically, we can't wait till he dies. But everybody knows, if anybody's paying attention to the statistics, that you've got pretty much like a 98% chance of surviving if you do get the Rona. Just because you test positive doesn't mean you're going to pass away. Both my parents have recovered from being COVID positive, and
I've only known one person to get it.
My parents are doing fine. I had one guy at work that I know. We don't work. He moved on. He works in a different department. He ended up getting the Rona, and he's kind of an unhealthy dude. He smokes a lot. He's a little bit overweight. I'm not sure his diabetic situation is, but he was on a ventilator for 10 days. He was really messed up, and now he's out of the hospital, and he has to go to like a respiratory therapist. He's real. I guarantee you, he's going to stop smoking now.
That'd be a good, kind of wake up call, I guess. I mean, I still smoke.
Oh no! I thought you quit.
I did for a little bit, and then it started right back up. It's a hard habit. I will say it is a very hard habit to quit. Huh?
It is. I'm glad I did it on my birthday in Kirkuk, Iraq. I decided I had enough, and I just quit. It's been awesome. It's great to be able to smell things and stuff and taste things, and not smell like an ashtray and all that other stuff that comes.
I'd be scared if I quit smoking, because I got a really good sense of smell, period. And then if I quit, last time I quit for 6 months, I swear I could smell things like 10 miles away. I'm just like, oh, that's gross.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Shipwreck asks, what's the tipping point for the VP to take over with Trump? If it hasn't happened already, because he has gone to, I think he went to Walter Reed. He flew on Marine One, and he is undergoing treatment. Some of the reports were that he was feeling fatigued, but he was in good spirits. So I don't know if he's ambulatory and able to move around. I haven't really seen much in the way of that, but I think as long as President Trump is able to remain conscious, obviously. I mean, if you go
communicate,
if you go in for a wisdom tooth removal and they knock you out for a couple of minutes, there's going to be a transfer of power. But I think that President Trump is still able to execute the duties of the President of the United States.
My mom was telling me earlier, I didn't get a chance to confirm it. Someone was saying something like the Doomsday planes launched or some shit. Huh? I don't know if there's like some sort of weird protocol or something like that. Huh?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that.
I didn't get a chance to confirm it, but she was reading on the thing. She said it was from the Washington Post. I was like, okay, I guess I didn't hear nothing about that. Huh?
Yeah, I've kind of kept my my nose out of the news today, just because I there's so much flying around. I didn't want anything new.
It was just a very negative day.
Yeah.
This last night was extremely negative, and then this morning I was just like I flipped through some of the posts, and I was just like, I'm done today. This is going to be a bad day if I keep this up.
A lot of negativity, man. I don't like. I mean, it's like that dude at work, or that dude that's always bitching about stuff. It's exhausting. It really is.
They call them negative Nancy's.
Yeah.
Yeah. All they do, everything is negative. They could win the lottery and find something wrong with it. Huh?
Right. Absolutely. So were you able to catch any of the debate?
Here and there, the train wreck that it was. Yeah. Yes, I saw a majority of it. There was a couple times where I stepped out to do dishes or something like that, and I was trying to listen to two shows at once, which is really hard to do, because we had an awesome show Tuesday, and if y'all missed it.
We had Clark Gregg on the show on Tuesday. It wasn't a hard choice to make. I did listen to the show. I didn't watch the debate. I did that on purpose. I knew it was going to be a train wreck, and I didn't want to see it. The only reason that I wanted the only reason that I had within my being to want to see it is to see if the wheels fell off on Joe Biden. But from what I understood, he did a good job. He didn't forget where he was.
Well, there's a rumor flying around. It's like, the news said it's fake news or whatever it is, and it's a QAnon thing or whatever. But someone saw a wire on them, and they're trying to make that big. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did, but that's the only place that I saw it. I didn't see anybody running with it. All of the pictures were the same. Anybody who referenced those pictures, they were all the same pictures, just coming from different people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe 99% of that unless there's an actual, someone's like, oh, this is legit. I could draw a little squiggle in a video and make it look like a wire hanging out.
Exactly. Looks like Ship just dropped something in our little in our news group. Something about a doomsday planes or something like that. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I don't know why they would.
They did launch the Boeings, what are the E6 Bravo Mercuries?
E6Bs, yeah.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the president testing positive, because that's what some people said. He tested positive, I was like, okay, well, they do have to test these things out every now and then.
Yeah,
you've
got to fly. You've got to fly your planes. If you don't fly, it's not like it's a tool that the more you use it, it's going to wear out. Aircraft, if they sit motionless and not running, that does a lot worse.
Same with any mechanical vehicles are the same way. You've got to start them up and run them every now and then.
And that's why all the all these taxpayers are these they're wasting all these tax dollars on the
pilots see flight hours.
The Blue Angels are flying, and the Thunderbirds are flying. They have to fly. If they're gonna fly,
pilots need their flight hours.
If they're gonna fly, they might as well do some cool flybys. We had a really cool flyby here in the Dallas area. They did like a big old zigzag loop-de-loop all the way around Dallas and Fort Worth.
I did that in a bunch of the bigger cities when all this pandemic stuff was kicking off, because everyone was just chilling at home. So they just was like, hey, let's give people a show.
I think they did that as a thank you to the frontline workers, all the medical people.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So you're in good health? You're COVID free? You look healthy. You look good.
Like I said, I'm a firm believer that I caught it way early back in November last year, because I came down with the worst. I mean, I think I was still doing the Sunday show with Al back then, and I was if you heard that show back then, I sounded heinous.
Were you?
I could barely breathe. It was nuts, and it wasn't the flu.
My mom and dad both came down with it, and it was they came down with it a week apart. My mom got it first, then my dad got it, and then my mom recovered, and then my dad recovered. He recovered last week was his first kind of real day where he's tasting things and smelling things, and his appetite's been back. He said he was just he didn't. The only reason that he didn't go to the hospital. His doctor, he was in contact with his doctor, but the doc was saying that he wasn't running a fever. If you're not running a fever, then you don't need to come in. So they monitored his temperature. He said he was just very, very lethargic, very run down, wanted to sleep all the time, didn't have an appetite. My mom was awesome. She, force fed him, just kind of, here, eat. You gotta eat.
You don't eat, you won't get better.
Right. So, he's out of the woods, and he's older guy, man. He's in his 80s. I want to say he's 82. And my mom's probably 10 years younger than he is, so.
Wow. That's how old I think my grandfather is, on my mom's side. But,
so
I mean, I know.
Hers was at the end of November and the beginning of December. She never got diagnosed. That was way before the
testing came out.
Right. I think
there was no testing. COVID wasn't really a thing. It was popping off in China, but no one was really talking about it.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, Who knows? I lived in Florida, and I used to go to Orlando and Daytona a lot, and so I was probably exposed early and didn't realize it. And I've never got tested. I mean, I don't know if they can do what antibody test to see if you had it.
I'm not sure what all the tests are. I know there's an antibody test. There's that nose swab lance thing they stick to the back of your brain. I'm exaggerating. And then there's another one. I heard that there was like a breath test. Like you breathe,
like a breathalyzer,
kind of like a breathalyzer. You breathe, and they analyze your breath. I don't know.
I guess that works. I know the VA here is doing major testing. When I went through to get like processed, because I just moved, and they had a huge testing line set up. No one was going through it, but I mean they were testing. They tested me to go into the VA.
I haven't been inside a VA in almost a year. Next month is going to be a year. I had an appointment. It was a checkup, a physical last October, the middle to the end of last October. And then I had another appointment 6 months later that got pushed and pushed and pushed. And that ended up being like a telephone conversation with my doc.
That's what I just had with my doctor, was a telecom. And I was like, dude, I need, to actually sit down and talk to you sometime, because I got blood pressure problems in the whole 9 yards.
I'm really, and I do the same thing. I got the blood pressure stuff. I'm an older dude. But normally they do maintain your liver function, or they do monitor your liver function, so that, you got to go take a blood test, and every other appointment they do a urinalysis to make sure my kidneys are kicking ass like they always do. But no, man, it's been a year. Been a year. I think I need to push for. Yeah, let's do another blood test and a little urinalysis.
Physical. Yeah.
Because I want to make sure.
They test my blood all the time. I mean, every time I go in there, it seems like, hey, we need a blood test. Hey, we need a blood test. I guess it's that burn pit exposure or something, or making sure I don't catch no cancer or something like that. And I don't know what's going on with that.
Did you file for that, or did you?
Yes, I did.
Did you get put on the registry?
No, when the claim came out, a friend of mine hit me up, and this was back I think the first claim came. The registry started like early 2015, maybe late 2014. And my buddy's like, you need to go sign up for this. So I was like, okay. Well, and I did it. And every time I go in there, they ask me questions about it. And I was like, yeah, I ran in a burn pit for a minute. So, I was there burning stuff, it's okay.
I was never around a burn pit. When I served, I never went over to Iraq. It wasn't until after I became a civilian and I went over as a contractor. But I was in Kirkuk, on the Kirkuk airfield, and there is if anybody's been there, there's an oil well like at the end of the runway. It looks like it's at the end of the runway. It's just it's way in the distance by a mile or so. But they were burning off methane, like for the first 6 or 7 months that I was there, and so it just smelled. It was black and sooty, and it was nasty. It was
like Slayer. I think they were dumping like the waste, like from the porta johns out at this point in Slayer. Every time you drive by, it would smell like.
That's so
it was just the nastiest thing coming out. There was a tunnel going under Irish, and you come up on the other side, and you make that turn there, and it was just like, oh man, that smell was just heinous.
Kind of wonder if there's going to be any claims filed for anybody that's been to Kandahar, where the poupons are. That's
the poupons.
The poupons. Yeah,
I was fortunate enough not to go to Afghanistan. I was glad about that.
I tried. They closed down Iraq, and so we went back to Kuwait, and that was like because you can go down as a civilian. You're not really beholden to anybody. You're still getting paid. I think we lost our hazard pay or something when we went back to Kuwait. But then there's tents. So there's like a big tent city of all kinds of contracting agencies. And I slept for a couple of days. I ate, showered, and slept. I caught up on my sleep. And then the time came for me to, float my resume to these other companies. And I'm just like, I really don't want to do this anymore. So I got a ticket home.
It's a rough life.
It sucks, man. I didn't realize how stressful it was until I didn't have the stressful portion. to go through that day-to-day BS.
Good money, but a stressful life.
It was excellent money. It was super awesome money. But I just didn't. It's one of those things. I'm glad, I checked that box. I'm glad I did it. Don't want to do it again.
Yeah, I never even, the contracting thing never even once like crossed my mind, because I got out. I was like, I am done with this bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm never doing this again.
Ted Valentine asked a good question. He asked, is the football with the president? The nuclear football.
Oh, you know what? They probably did. I really do think in this scenario, unless he's quarantined and there's some sort of communication thing set up, I really do think that they probably transferred that power over to the vice president. They're not going to say anything about that because the media would just have a field day with that. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, he's not able to lead. They'll turn it upside down and sideways and misconstrue and misread and misreport, and just like everything else, man. It's so depressing, man. I always like to keep a good attitude. Like it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. But if President Trump gets reelected, then this crap's going to continue for 4 more years.
4 more years. Yes. I think Ice always says it on the show. It's this pendulum effect, right? And I really do believe that. The pendulum has been pushed so far that when it snaps back, it's going to be insane. It's just going to be nuts.
Absolutely. I don't like it. I mean, the right does it, the left does it, everybody does it. So there's this everyone's talking about Jo Jorgensen. She's not on the debate stage. It was just. It was just President Trump.
No, they need her.
I think they need her. She actually, she tweeted or she posted on Facebook today. She's like, "Hey, if President Trump can't make the debate, I'll be glad to fill in."
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I like Joe. I like Spike. I was really happy. Spike came on the show.
Spike at first. Can you hear me right now?
I can.
Okay, I was like, no, Spike at first kind of had me worried, because I've seen, like, when he was a little bit younger and some of the stuff that he posted, like, I was just like, it seems a little extreme, but hearing him speak on the show, I mean, kind of like, it's like, okay, he's a libertarian. I mean, as simple as that. I mean, libertarians pretty much agree with everything until you're like, hey, I'm a libertarian. Oh, I'm a libertarian. And we're at each other's throats for some reason. I don't know why, but
So I like the ideas. I really do like the ideas. My opinion of those two are I think if the Libertarian Party wants to start making some headway, they need to start small, start local, and move into the national picture. Get more, states and municipalities on board with the libertarian, type of thought, and then get into the national. Because I'm afraid that let's say November 4th we have President Jo Jorgensen. Inauguration happens. So what do you have? You've got a libertarian president and a vice president, and not a whole lot of support within Congress. I think they more closely identify with the right, except for defense spending. I think there's
there's a few
drugs, drug laws. Because
there's a few Republicans that are actually like closet libertarians, like Rand Paul. He's a libertarian.
He's more of a constitutionalist guy. He's guided by the Constitution, and I appreciate
that's
that.
Pretty much what a libertarian is the whole principle of libertarianism is pretty much just to take everything back to the Constitution, and that's it. I mean, it's an easy thing to follow. If you follow that, makes things easy. But that just blows my mind that they will not allow. And I think the reason why is because she would have been like in there just spanking them like little kids having a temper tantrum. It was nuts.
I think that's a big upsetting the apple cart. That is exactly what Jo Jorgensen would do. It's not a bad thing. I think we do need a shakeup, but there are so many institutions in the United States that are just you're either a Republican or a Democrat. That's just the way that things are. The Democrats are their social program spending is through the roof. On the right, the defense spending is through the roof. It's just there's a lot of, I don't know. I made a list. I'm a list making type of guy here.
A list. I want to hear this.
No, it's not a list. It's just the differences, like issues on taxpayer-funded abortion. Of course, the right opposes that. The Democrats do. They want that. They campaign on that. Actually, I'm for. I am anti-abortion. It's not a choice that I would make. I would not choose to abort a baby, an infant, a fetus rather. However, I do think that it is a personal choice. If I had to make that choice, I'm not a woman, but if my partner, if she was pregnant and she didn't want it, we would have to have a discussion. I would say no. We're not going to. I would like for you not to abort it. It's her body. It should be our decision. But where I draw the line is taxpayer funded. If they removed that taxpayer funded abortions, if they got that off, then I would be fine with abortion still being legal. It's a personal choice, man. You're gonna have to balance that book, whenever you die. When you meet your maker, you're gonna have to answer for that. Parental.
Well, I think ICE had a was it a Georgia? He's running for the Georgia House, I think.
Yes.
Yes, and he was a hardcore. He was a Republican, but he was a constitution. He sounded like, I was like, this dude sounds like libertarian, but he said it's the government's job is not to deal in death. He just doesn't believe in that. No, that's not the government's job at that point, which I kind of agree with that.
I think too many people use abortion as a form of birth control rather than abstaining or taking, the pills or using condoms or any of the number of ways that you can avoid getting pregnant. It looks like my camera just took a crap. It kind of looks like a cool flag with you in the upper left-hand corner. Did you see that? Did it show up yet?
It hasn't started showing up yet, but I'll probably see it here in a second.
No. This sucks. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like the American flag dropped a couple hits of LSD.
I'll see if I can fix that in a little bit. I don't know how to do that.
That's rough.
I don't know how to do that because I've unplugged the. Have you unplugged it and plugged it back in again?
Oh, the gremlins attack again. It's not Friday Night Freedom without the gremlins attacking at some point. We gotta always have a gremlin attacking.
We have to have some sort of technical issue. You turned it off and turned it back on again.
Yeah, turn it on, turn it off. Like it's a whole South Park episode where the internet goes out and one of the kids has to go down into the Area 51 and they're like, "Can you fix it?" And he just unplugs it for 10 seconds, and plugs it back in, and the internet works.
And he's a hero. That's awesome.
Do you follow South Park at all by chance?
When I had cable, I cut the cable, so I haven't lately. So
okay, then you missed that the pandemic special that was this. Oh my god! Ooh, that was a weird one.
So who owns the rights to South Park now? Are they on?
They're on Comedy Central still.
Comedy Central, but they're
yes.
on. Barlow's like, pull the
still
choke.
The same. It's still the same kids that have been running it since the beginning. I think. Yeah, I say kids, they're probably older than me. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I mean, was it Trey Parker and those guys? They're probably a little younger than me. A little younger.
Yeah,
than
because
me.
it's South Park. I'm gonna date myself a little bit. Didn't start till I was probably about like maybe 13 or 14 years old. So I was still a young pup when it came out. So it's been running for a good minute. Huh?
Yeah.
Pull the choke and then half choke.
Heath, don't you have laundry? He's always saying he's got laundry.
I got laundry. I got laundry. Was he laundering money?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know what he was laundering. Oh, here we go. I'm going to do that. Okay. So, yeah, there's a couple of other, removing parental consent for abortion for minors. Democrats support that. Of course, the right doesn't support that.
Oh, that's kind of I mean, little kids should always have to. I mean, their parents' best interest in that. You know, like that's the rough one. I don't think a 12-year-old should be able to walk into an abortion clinic and be like, "I want an abortion." That's just.
Or I don't think they ought to walk in with, and just get here, have that morning after pill, and you don't have to tell your parents.
The weird world we're living in anymore. You know, it's just I saw a commercial today that me and my grandfather were sitting there watching TV, and I was just like, "What?" And he was just like, "Huh?" We were like, "Wow," you know, like we're probably about 4 generations apart. We're both like, "What? Say what?"
So, we are experiencing video issues. Sorry. Nothing I can do. Wish I could.
It's like a weird encoding error because it's like a billion little me's in there.
It happened. This happened. I think our first show. No, the first show was the wheels came off. Nothing was working right.
Ooh, that was a ooh.
The second show.
My mom was listening to that show. She was like, "What was going on?" I was like, "It happens sometimes."
And then Mom was on. She was on the show last week. Was it last week? And then I had all kinds of audio issues.
Yes, it was me. No, it was me the last.
Week. Yeah, it was you, and then but it was her the week before that. I don't think we've had an error-free week yet. But
you know what? We'll work it out. This is what show 4 now or 3 now, so we'll get it going.
Yeah, I got to do the count. September 11th was the day that Friday Night Freedom came back. So more left versus right. I'm not really sure where Joe Jorgensen stands on a lot of this stuff. Forcing doctors and medical facilities to perform gender transition procedures on minors without parental consent.
What?
Yeah, like let's say dad has mom and dad get divorced. Dad has custody. He says my son wants to be a girl. So he makes the sole decision to have a gender reassignment surgery for his son without the consult of his ex-wife.
You're getting me into a whole subject here. And
right. I really don't think minors ought to be.
No, any doctor who performs anything like that on a minor should lose their license, I think. That's just my personal opinion on that.
I'm not an expert on gender reassignment surgery or the desire to become another sex. Never in my life did I want to be a female. So I don't know what that's like. It must suck to have that in your head, just going, I'm just not in the right body. That must suck really bad.
I wouldn't, like I said, you got to walk a mile in a man's shoes, or that might be insensitive for me to say it like that, but I mean, to understand what's going on in someone's head, but I could never picture myself there. I mean, it's just rough.
Open borders. Everybody knows where the right and the left stand on that. Reparations. That's something that hasn't come up. It's kind of talked about in the back room, but it's not really. There's not
California
really.
was.
Oh, Gavin Newsom he's all about the paying reparations, but I don't understand.
I heard California was talking about doing that, and just start like a startup program for it. And I mean, that guy's like all about the newest and greatest things and stuff like that. But then you've got homeless people living everywhere. They can't figure that out. No?
Exactly.
I mean, you figure, I've got more important issues, pressing issues. Let's just work our way to this issue, but let's take care of the more pressing facts. And that's the thing that's going on in California right now. California is literally on fire, and they're worried about things like this.
Yes, it's the things that they're putting their efforts toward that have nothing to do with the things that really need. I mean, their house is on fire, and they're focusing their efforts on other things that are important that need to be addressed. But
it's important, but not right now. Like, your ship's sinking. The first thing you want to do is plug the hole.
Plug the hole. Exactly.
Let's fix the sails. Let's go faster. We need to do this. We need to do that. Drop the anchors. No, fix the holes in the ship first.
Hey, my house is on fire. Let's talk about how much we're going to budget for groceries this week.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me. So that was the reparation tax fund, taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. Yeah, I'm against that. President Trump is against that. The left is all for, and you can throw in California to that too. They're all about, giving free stuff, whether it's education or health care to illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Big difference.
All this free stuff is, maybe they should start handing out free homes because, like, people will need housing, it seems like.
Didn't AOC say something about that? There's like apartment units that go unrented. She says those ought to be given to the homeless. They tried that, I think, in Seattle. They actually, the government paid a hotel just, you need to start housing some homeless people here. Or they had like a Rona hospital. I don't know. I don't pay attention to their politics because it's just like, that's something I'll never live there. The only time I'll visit there is if I'm flying through. Like if I go to Alaska or something, I may land at SeaTac.
You will never see me set foot in California. I'm actually shocked my sister went to school there, but I mean,
I did.
Whatever.
I flew on my way to Korea. This is where when I joined the service, I did it in Chicago. So I flew from Chicago to St. Louis, from St. Louis to San Francisco, and then San Francisco to Seattle, Seattle to Anchorage, Anchorage to Yokota, Japan to Seoul. So I was in California for a very short amount of time. And I did a job for Starbucks out there a number of years ago.
You worked for Starbucks?
No, I designed machines that Starbucks bought. So I did site surveys, and I did the equipment installation and training for their employees.
I forgot you're a mechanical engineer, right?
Mechanical and electrical.
Okay.
So yeah, we designed a pasteurizer which they didn't buy because they do cold press stuff for juice. If you look at Suja, if you see, you can see it in the grocer's rack, like where the salads are. They have Suja juice, SUJA, and then they also have Evolution Fresh. And those are all made.
It doesn't ring a bell to me.
They're all damn good juices, man. They're all cold pressed, and it's
fresh,
very fresh, and it's like the only thing in them is what it says on there's no chemicals or nothing like that. It's like this is strawberry juice. Contents: 16 strawberries, 2 raspberries, and that's it.
Oh yeah, like the naked smoothies and stuff. But I think they're a little different.
Naked juice is actually pasteurized. But they do cold. I'm out of that business, so It's awesome. It would be really awesome to work at that place. It was it was in San Bernardino, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful facility. It was awesome. Everybody there seemed happy to work there. But just to add that to some of my life experience, I've done a lot of stuff, man. I cut my teeth in the aviation industry, and that's where I want to stay. I was really lost when we moved. What happened was, and the reason I got out of the aviation industry is I ended up getting laid off from my job. I got another job at a mom and pop completion center where you just complete. Naked helicopters come that people buy, and you just install all the avionics, and you give it a cool paint job, and so you basically do a helicopter customizations. That was fun.
So you're doing like helicopters for like people like Trump and stuff like that. And
the coolest person we did Ross Pro Jr. his helicopter. We did there's a lot of people. I haven't thought about that in so many years. But yeah, it's just interesting how many people, what people want in their helicopter. We would sell helicopters to people that would take them down to Mexico, and which is fine. You know, it's your helicopter. You take it wherever you want to go. But when they would come back for like their annual service or their 5-year service, there would be like linoleum on the floorboards, fuzzy dice, and it was all just teak wood. You know, someone would make a custom wood instrument panel or something, and it's just like, dude, you can't put this stuff on aircraft. You're not gonna get issued a burn cert for teak on a damn helicopter. You can't do that. So whenever, you know,
you can't have wood panels in a helicopter.
It has to pass a burn certification. And a burn certification is gonna analyze the chemicals that come out when it burns, how much smoke comes out if it burns or when it burns.
What you're saying, toxicity levels and stuff like that.
Exactly. So since they didn't supply,
if I want teak in my helicopter, I'm going to get teak in my damn helicopter. But I kind of get what you're saying there. It puts firefighters' lives in danger when your dumbass crashes in the side of a mountain somewhere.
Or it puts, like, if you do have a fire in the instrument panel and your instrument panel starts smoking, you're gonna poison the pilots that are supposed to, you know, auto rotate and land that plane, you know, safely.
I get it.
Wow. We kind of went way off track, and then we came back on track, and then we went way off into the left field, and
we're
walked around, went to the concession booth and grabbed too many beers, and now we're back, and so we've got a good rest of the show. I don't want to get into this stuff because it's is Wallbreaker here? If Wallbreaker is here, say hello or something. I'll probably see you. But she was talking about she needs some ink therapy, and she was wanting to get a new tattoo.
Oh, I've been wanting one. Me and my auntie were thinking about going to get new tats, but
I don't have any tattoos.
I got the money for it.
I got no tattoos.
Oh, dude, love it, dude. It's addictive. Like the first one I got, like my friend said, if you're gonna get one, get a big one. He said, it'll just give you a good experience. You know, don't go with a little tiny one where it's done in 15 minutes. Go for like a 3-4 hour session. And my last tattoo, I wanted to have it completely finished. It was supposed to be a 10-hour session. I was going to sit through the whole thing. And my ex-girlfriend came with her son, and her son started doing like weird children's stuff. And tattoo artist is like, dude, I can't concentrate with a kid bouncing all over my shop. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just cut it. And, you know.
So I almost had to sneeze. We're going to get back to the tattoo thing at the top of the hour after break. But I almost had to sneeze, and I choked it back. Today has been the worst day. I've had allergies pretty much my entire life. Then about 10 years ago or 12 years ago, I stopped having to take allergy medicine. And now it's kind of reverting back to my springtime allergies aren't there, but fall, when we're going from like when the temperature here, I live in north central Texas. So when the temperature, gets off of the hundreds down into the 80s and 70s, there's the cedar in the air, and that just tears me up. Today has been super, super hard. I had stuff to do, and you can't do anything out here without wearing a face covering. So here I am. I'm wearing a face covering. I'm trying to turn stuff into. I had to go to the dry cleaners. So I got my face cover on. I got my clothes that I need to get dry cleaned, and my nose is just running. And I didn't take any medication. I took some medication. That's why I'm kind of doing okay now. But dude, my nose was it was running down my face, and of course into my face covering. I wear a neck gaiter. I don't wear one of those masks.
Yeah, I wear one of those like fishing windshields when I'm out and about, unless I'm like somewhere where I know it's like, and then I wear a real, But
yeah, so I wonder if anybody else out there is going through. I mean, the cedar was super high today, and I had the windows open just because it was a beautiful day. It was like nice and 70s all day today. It was very, very nice. So I had had a good cross breeze going on in the house, and it was just I couldn't stop blowing my nose. It was so bad. I finally took some pseudoephedrine, Sudafed, whatever, ephedrine. That's it. I took some of that, and then I got the rest of the show put together, and I'm like, damn, I'm really tired all of a sudden. So like at 4 o'clock, was it 4 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock my time? I'm like, I need to lay down for a little bit. I was all jittery and shit. I'm just like, I just need to relax. So I set a timer for like 45 minutes, and I just laid in bed and stared at the ceiling.
I hate that stuff. I refuse to take it because it's just.
I had to, man. I had to. That stuff was just running down my face. I felt like an 8-year-old kid with a cold.
Wondering if like the air quality in Texas. I was watching the Weather Channel today, and they were showing like where the smoke is headed.
Yeah, it's fires
up there.
There's a fire in Colorado, and it's caught a hold of the jet stream, and it's pushing the smoke down into the area. I haven't noticed it. It was a beautiful day today, nice and clear, and I haven't smelt anything. But people that are east of me, like east of Dallas, they're like, it's hazy and you can smell the smoke. So it hasn't made it here. But I looked at the air quality report, and there's a lot of like ragweed and cedar.
I don't get allergies much. I mean, I guess I'm fortunate enough, every now and then. I don't know. It just depends when there's this weird flower that grows, especially around here. It's like a vine. And when it starts popping out, it's not honeysuckle, it's something else. But when it starts flowering, I don't know what it is. I could roll around in poison ivy all day long and not get messed up. But
damn,
as soon as that flower pops out, I'm just like, oh, what the heck? My eyes swell up. As my nose starts running, it's like getting hit with CS gas to me. So I don't.
So I walked into when I walked into the dry cleaner, it was kind of funny. The lady behind the counter, she's an old Vietnamese lady, and she's just like, she goes, I feel your pain. I know what you're going through. Cause I'm like, I'm stepping away. I'm pulling my mask, my face covering down. I'm blowing my nose, wiping my face, itching my eyes. And she's like, I get it. She's like, I understand. I have it too. She says, I took allergy medicines this afternoon, and I'm really, really tired now. I don't like to take allergy like Benadryl. If I took a Benadryl tablet or something, I would be just asleep. It knocks me out.
VA gives me. It's actually supposed to be used for allergies, but it also, one of the side effects of it is it helps with anxiety, and it's like non-habit forming. That's why I like it. I won't take anything that's like real bad for my anxiety. I don't want no like Xanax or anything like that. But this stuff, you take one, I call them the little green pills. You take one of them, and within like 15 minutes, you just want to be, you're just like a freaking zombie walking around.
It's interesting. I took, the last time I took a Benadryl, it was during the movie Titanic. When Titanic came out in the theaters, my wife at the time, she's like, let's go see Titanic. I'm like, okay. So I took a Benadryl and sat through, I think I made it through like the opening credits and the first part of the movie, and I was out. Dude. That stuff knocks me out. Other people that I work with, they take it so much it doesn't really affect them.
You build immunity to it. That's like the little green pills I was talking about. Once you start taking them on a daily basis, they don't really do much. But like if you're feeling like, oh, I can't sleep and I'm awake, at night, and I'm like, I want to get some Z's, I'll just pop one of those and like just lay down, and I'll just naturally just kind of go out.
That doesn't give you that empty head feeling, the little allergy pill hangover type stuff? That's the only thing I don't like. I don't like it. I don't like waking up in the morning to go, because I get up at stupid early hours to get to work, and it's just the I don't like that hungover feeling. I don't even drink during the week at all. It's because I don't like. I got to be fresh. I got to be able to think. Heath Barlow's like, I took a Benadryl yesterday and passed out at work. I get it, man. I get it. That stuff just does me in.
Like when I had my ribs broken in the Army's like, here's some what's that stuff? God, I can't. Percocet.
Percocets or Oxy,
Percocet. Yeah. And you're fine to go to work. Just take the Percocet. So I'm sitting there with broken ribs, and I'm like, oh, oh, screw it. I'm sitting at the office popping perks. I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is great.
So now I guess it's legal for soldiers to sleep on duty or whatever. I
saw that. There's like warm baths, taking naps, meditation. No more Shark Week. What's up with that?
Oh man. All right, dude. What do you say we take a break? I'm going to try to get the camera back. I don't think I can do that without stopping the broadcast, and I don't want to stop the broadcast, man. I'm not going to give in. I've got zero drop frames. My frame rate is really, really good. I've got 0.0.
I think what happened was Facebook was getting sick of looking at my ugly face. Is what it was. I just had to kill it, man.
I think you're a hot man, so I don't understand why Facebook would have an issue with your sexy ass hairy face. You can't even see your face. There's so much hair on it.
Yeah, it used to be longer than what it is, but it's starting to give me headaches because it weighed so much.
You have trimmed it up a little bit.
I'm starting to get gray too. I love it.
Oh, you get some gray streaks in there, man. Are you gonna be that the silver fox of WTF Nation Radio?
Yeah. I've been getting gray hair since I was 20 something, and now it's coming in my beard. And I look down, I'm like, ooh, silver. I love it.
Whenever my facial hair grows out, I don't personally think that I could grow a beard. Some of the guys that I work with, if they don't shave in a few days, they might as well grow a beard. There was a guy that I worked with. He was from Bangladesh, and that dude would have he would come to work. We'd show up at the same time in the morning, and I would set up the lab for him. He was a flight controls engineer, and by the end of the day, you'd be like, "Who are you?" Because he would have so much facial hair. I mean, he was dark.
That was me in the Army. Like I'd shave for PT before PT formation, and about noon I'd have NCOs riding my ass about, did you shave today? Did you? I was like, yeah, son. I shaved this morning. You only got to shave for first formation. That's it. Like just get off my ass.
And everybody knows. Like if you've shaved, everyone. I think people just want to be dicks. All right. Motrin and water. Change your socks. That is a very, very, like the most important.
Ranger candy.
So do you think that's the medical advice that President Trump got when he went to went to the hospital?
They totally said, well, I mean, actually I was reading ibuprofen is very bad if you have coronavirus. That's what I was reading. But
I remember reading.
Not sure if there's any medical truth about that.
I remember reading that, and then like weeks later, it came out that no, it's not as bad as we thought.
I really think no one knew what the hell was literally going on for about 3 or 4 months, so they were just saying whatever they wanted to say at that point.
Oh, so Madden Fokker says been popping NyQuil daytime just to prep. Oh my gosh, yeah, just in case someone sneezes.
A non-COVID day.
Yeah, that's. Dude, you're gonna throw your body into some kind of a tailspin. You take NyQuil during the day. I'm sorry, Dayquil during the day, and then NyQuil at night, and just have.
They used to do that. They used to do that when I was in high school. kids would drink that NyQuil or whatever. There was some sort of chemical in it that would actually, they called it robo-tripping.
Oh, dude, I heard about that,
like,
yeah.
Hallucinating.
Well, yeah, because you take something that's going to put you down and then take something that's going to keep you up, and then it just dukes itself out inside your body, and then you start seeing stuff.
It's like, why? Why would you do that? I could never figure out, like, why are you doing it to yourself? You're an idiot.
All right, we're going to take a break really quick. It's going to be looks like, if my math is correct, about 8 minutes. And then we'll be back, and we're going to not talk about politics. How about that?
Right. Let's not talk about politics. That works.
Outstanding. All right, we'll be back in 8 minutes, guys. Hang tight.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
This is Eric Stolhansky, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.
I like to get to know you so I can show you. Put your hook and know you like I told you. Give me all your numbers so I can phone you. Your girl acting sad, then call me over.
All right, we're back. with part 2 of Friday Night Freedom here at WTF Nation Radio. Today is the second day of October 2020. Yep, still having the video issues. I do apologize for that. Nothing I can do without killing the broadcast, and I'm not going to let that happen. So we're just going to continue to drive on. Pookie, are you still here with me?
We're going to ride the lightning.
Yeah, we're going to ride the lightning. Anyway, we got some cool. I got a couple of cool. I got 3 stories. 3 stories. It'll last as long as it lasts. You said that you have tattoos.
Yes, I love my tattoos. I want more.
So what you couldn't see is the story because for some reason you weren't able to download.
Yeah. I think it was my day has been just crazy. So I mean, there was just one last thing on the the cherry on top.
It's okay, man. Yeah, I guess the wheels have to come completely off. It just has to once it starts going bad.
It's like the Space Shuttle Columbia. It just starts doing it. That might be. Is it too soon for that?
Have you seen the? There's a what is it? Is it the Challenger video?
Documentary. Yes, I saw that.
I don't know. I see it, and I see it there, and I can click on it. I'm just like I don't want to. I saw it happen when I was in high school, and I saw that during science class.
You know how old I was? I was 6 months old.
So you probably didn't watch it.
I don't remember. I hear my mom talks about it all the time, but besides that, she's like, I just remember. I was like, I don't remember that. I do remember Challenger. I think was it Challenger, the one that burned up over Texas.
Burned up over Texas, man. I was on the computer. I was doing something on the computer, and I heard pow, pow, pow. I'm like, what the hell was that?
I was home when it happened, and I lived in at the time I was living in a little town called Diboll, Texas, a little south of Lovekin, and they were finding bits and pieces of it everywhere. It was just nuts.
Yeah, it flew over. I guess it was breaking up, and it broke all the piece parts. It had already started breaking up, and it was individual piece parts were breaking the sound barrier coming back into the atmosphere. And that's what I heard, and then go outside, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And then the news, of course, is space shuttle broke up. I'm like, holy crap!
I'm kind of glad we don't do that anymore, and we just went back to the whole capsule thing. And
I really
SpaceX is doing wonderful things.
I really like what SpaceX is doing.
The only thing I don't like what they're doing right now is that Starlink program because it's really messing the skies up at night, and that's my only gripe right now.
What I don't like is they're willfully putting up more stuff, more objects in space. The places, if you ever look at that space junk map, it's just there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap up there.
What is it called? My buddy was telling me about it last night, and I was like, it makes sense. I think he called it Kessler syndrome.
Tell me about it.
Or something like that. It's either Kepler's or Kessler. I don't know, but he was explaining to me it makes sense because it was kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Gravity.
Yes. Is that Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock, and it had George Clooney in it for a little bit. But the whole principle behind that is it's kind of similar to the concept. But what happens is you have a collision, and the collision cascades, and you've got so much junk in space that it creates just like this shrapnel field around the planet for an unforeseeable future, and it just ends space exploration at that point.
Yeah, it's like you can't get out because you're going to be running over stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a bomb goes off, and it's like in Beirut that fertilizer blew up. You can't drive through town without them cleaning that stuff up first.
Yeah, and I think I was looking into Starlink, and I was like, what is exactly Starlink? And it's just to get internet to remote locations, reliable internet, but they want something close to 12,000 satellites.
Yeah, every time they launch, they're launching a very large amount of links in the Starlink.
Yeah, they're tiny little things, but it's just you got that much debris flying in the air. You know, like my buddy was telling me, if there's one cascade with that much junk, you're pretty much making it's like an impassable barrier around a planet.
So let me test our front desk. I think Ship is working our front desk tonight. I think that the International Space Station crew is holed up, or they were holed up on a certain section because they were expecting
a leak.
They were expecting to fly through a debris field or a piece of debris
really?
that was close to the International Space Station. I don't know what that was. I think I saw that yesterday or the day before. So I don't know.
They're talking about there was a leak that it's not really a leak like you'd think about it, but it's just minute enough to like, okay, we can ignore it now, but we need to find it.
Well, that's when you light up a cigarette and you see where the smoke goes, right?
Yeah, fire in space is the greatest thing on the planet.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everyone loves fire in space.
Right. It's like fire on a boat, man. It's like the last thing you need is to have an out of control fire on a ship. Anyway, let's talk about tattoos. You've got tattoos. I don't have any. A lot of our audience has tattoos, but we're going to talk about this fella right here. Look at this dude. That guy. He's a kindergarten teacher. And he's speaking out after he claims that he lost his job due to his physical appearance, which includes tattoos all over his body and having the whites of his eyes surgically turned black. That dude looks like it's cool. I think it's cool.
Those tattoos, they're traditional Japanese tattoos, except for the face stuff, but I like that. Like that tradition. That's kind of like what I got going. Except not all over my face and arms.
I think it's pretty cool, but I'm also and this is my opinion. If you're going to have a face tattoo, you better have a record contract. You better have a solid source of income based on your talents before you start inking your face up.
I mean, he's teaching kindergarten kids. And it's I'm not going to talk bad, tattoo yourself. I don't care, but be classy with it. Like me, I've always tried to, my whole theory on it was I should be able to wear my Class Bs without you knowing that I have a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it. I should be able to work in a professional setting where I might have to, if I have to roll my sleeves up, if I'm wearing a suit and I have to roll my sleeves up, you're not going to know I have tattoos.
So Holly says he looks like a giant coloring book. That's like a color by numbers thing. My daughter, and this surprised the shit out of me. Both of my daughters are inked. My oldest is getting ready to turn 22. Youngest is turning 20. My youngest daughter, she graduated high school. She got her first tattoo, and it was a tattoo that she drew. She's a good artist. She can really sketch phenomenally.
That's legit.
And she has that on the inside of one of her arms. My oldest daughter, who was like the least likely to get a tattoo, has a tattoo running down her spine, and it's with white ink, and it really looks cool. It's really pretty cool. I was very impressed.
White ink.
I was very impressed with both of their tattoos. But it's just weird, man, because when they're growing up, there was no talk about getting a tattoo. My ex-wife ended up getting a tattoo. It's
acceptable in society. It used to be extremely taboo back in the day, and now it's very accepted in society. That is a little overboard, in my opinion. The whole eye thing and body modification, do it, but when you start looking like like you're the back end of a claymore with all the metal hanging out of your face, just.
And then with gauged earrings, and then you complain that you can't find a job.
Well, a couple of friends of mine that gauged their ears out, and it's all right if you. It's kind of one of the things. Same with tattoos. Keep keep it classy. Like if you start like tattooing weird numbers and Dorito chips and ice cream cones on your face, don't expect to get a decent job.
Unless you're like Post Malone, where you can make music and you're actually good at it, and you can still
SoundCloud. Yeah, make sure you're good on SoundCloud first, and you're good to go at it.
Is that the barometer for good rappers to get a start? Is, hey, if you're successful on SoundCloud,
That's where they all start now.
You might hit up Atlantic Records for a big deal. Anyway, our tattooed gentleman here, his name is he's from France. His name is Sylvain Helene. Said that he is extremely disappointed to learn from officials at Dr. Moore Elementary School in a suburb of Paris where he teaches that he would no longer be teaching kindergarten after some parents complained that he scared the children. Now, you got to figure a kid's going to see that, and it's going to be shocking at first because that's just not what you see every day. It's not, and I hate to throw out that word normal, but it's not what you see every day. And I think that's a fair assessment.
I mean, the artwork, in my opinion, is amazing.
As an adult, if I was walking down the street and if Sylvan was walking toward me, I would stare. I would be like, wow, you don't see that every day. And, it wouldn't, I don't hate him. I'm not going to judge him. That's just it's not something I would do, but that's pretty freaking cool. Someone starts walking up to me with black eyes. I've seen enough horror movies that it might concern me. But I'm not judging. I'm not going to judge the man.
I mean, he ain't hurt no one.
He's not. He's not.
If anything, those eye things might mess him up down the road, but that's his own prerogative at that point.
I do understand the school's point of view. You might scare the children. I get that. I understand. But I also get his point. He's being judged by his appearance, which really sucks. He says, quote, "I think the decision that they took was quite sad." He said that the outlet, he was assuming that the complaint last year came from the parents of a 3-year-old boy that he never taught. The parents of a kid that was never in one of his classrooms was one of the reasons why he was told that he would not be teaching. He says, "I'm a primary school teacher," he added. "I love my job." He said he was 27 years old when he started getting tattoos. At the time, he said he was teaching at a private school in London and experienced a, quote, existential crisis. I don't know what that means. And it inspired him to get inked. Since then, getting tattoos has been his passion. He explains that he estimates that he has spent close to 460 hours getting tattoos. That's a long time to spend under a needle. And you can see it. I mean, his tattoos are absolutely beautiful.
I want to go to Japan and get the traditional, I can't remember the name of it, but where it's the bamboo.
Yep.
And they take the ink and they sit there and they go clack, 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 clack. And the tattoos take like 4,000 times longer. They hurt a hell of a lot more. But they're apparently 1,000 times better looking at that point.
I have
want to get one nice tattoo like that.
I have an engineer that I worked with, Craig Dorsey. He worked with me for a while on several different programs. Then he quit, and he's actually working for a space company in Austin, Texas now. He and his wife went to Vietnam, just a vacation in Vietnam, and he ended up getting one of those traditional tattoos. He said that was one of the most painful things he has ever gone through, but it was one of the most, what did he say? He called it satisfying. He used a different word, but it was fulfilling. Fulfilling. He used the word fulfilling. It's a fulfilling feeling to have that tattoo on his body.
That's what I want to do. I mean, I'm gonna spend a lot of money to do it. Maybe I'll get my rib cage done or something like that. The most painful part of my body to get done. But
so what do you think is the most painful part? I thought maybe the back of the arms, like where the triceps are. Maybe your neck. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have a tattoo. Can't hear you, bro. Unmute your mic.
Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There we go, Gremlins again. No, I got around my nipple tattooed.
Ooh, yeah, the
And-
areola is probably a little bit tender.
And I bent the chair, the tattoo artist chair. This was in Fayetteville way back, but tattoo artist is great. I don't even know if he still works in the Fayetteville area or not, but he started getting. He's like, oh, he's like, he drew the tattoo, and he's like, I want to add something extra to this. I was like, all right, and I guess he was like a little sadist or whatever the word is, and he just went with that. I was like, and I bent the steel chair, the handle. I bent it with my hand trying to. And he was like, "Oh, just stay still, you pussy, man up."
Oh, dude.
And he went and did it. And he just went in for it. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." I thought it was painful.
He's probably he's probably a former soldier too.
No, he was in the Navy. He was in the Navy. Is what
There
it
you
was.
go.
He
Okay.
had all the old traditional Navy tattoos, and he ran with the Carnies for a while. I talked to the guy for a good minute. It was cool, but I had close to the armpit done. That gets kind of sensitive. I hear the armpit's the worst. The spine of the back is pretty bad.
But Heath just mentioned that he has a neck and a. He says I have neck and ND back, and neck and back. The spine is very painful. Which is
weird. Anywhere where we're close to the bone or close to a nerve is going to be very sensitive.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Anyone can get a tattoo right here on the top of the arm. It's like the easiest place to get it. You start getting I want to do my ribs next. That's the one I want to get done. That's my rib cage, and see if I can handle it. Hopefully, it's not as bad as the the nipple, but we'll find out.
We're talking about tattoos. When I first met Minx, I met her in Phoenix. We had there was an award that we were nominated for, and we ended up eventually winning. But she has some freaking awesome tattoos down her leg, and it's on her back and on her side and stuff. It's just I couldn't imagine sitting in a chair that long and letting someone just pluck away with a needle for that long. I have no idea. Did our video go out? Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, Minx had some really cool tattoos, though. She had like the Pokemon tattoos, which is cool.
Oh, she has all kinds. She has the entire Disney story tattooed on her body. It's beautiful. It's really good.
But those tattoos, I think my next one I'm gonna get is, I'm a hardcore Godzilla fan. I'm thinking I'm gonna get a Godzilla tattoo on my rib cage. Him tearing through Tokyo, because I'm big on the traditional style Japanese tattoos, and I'm gonna take it to a traditional Japanese where he's just ripping through Tokyo. And this my back piece, I've already got that one planned out, and I just need to find the right artist for it. I don't think I'll ever find the right artist for it.
You never know. You never know who you can find.
Yeah, the guy that did my nine-tailed fox Pop Smoke on me disappeared. He was one of the best tattoo artists in Northern Virginia, and he just disappeared. The day I was supposed to get the tattoo scheduled, we had a snowstorm, and I was like, dude, don't even bother to show up at the shop. I'm not going out. You don't go out. Be safe. He's like, all right, brother, and that was the end of it. Never heard from him again.
That kind of sucks, man. Just you find a guy you like, or you find an artist that you like, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore for whatever reason. It just sucks.
I think he's still doing tattoos. It's just he decided to pop smoke and move somewhere. He got was going through a divorce, met a woman. You know how it works.
Yeah,
life's life.
So, to continue with our tattoo story, he says, despite his unique appearance, Helene says that he never had a problem with teaching until his time at the Dr. Moore Elementary School. He says, quote, all of my students and their parents were always very cool with me because basically they knew me. It's only when people see me from far away or they don't know me and they always assume the worst. Although he's faced challenges throughout his career, Helene has vowed to continue serving as an educator and still teaches children 6 and up. He told the outlet that he hopes that his unique physical appearance will inspire his students to be more accepting and tolerant in the future. I get that, man. I completely get that.
That's kind of like where I was like kind of borderline with the whole thing was like, it's a learning opportunity. Not everyone looks the same.
Right.
If we all look normal, then it'd be a very boring planet we lived on,
Right, man. I think tattoos are cool. They look awesome, and it's kind of a statement to the taste of the person that has the tattoo, and it's also a statement to the artistry of the tattoo artist. When I was in Kirkuk, we had a guy that was on my crew who gave tattoos. He had a whole tattoo kit in his chew. He had a chew all by himself, and when he wasn't working, he was inking other contractors. He was inking soldiers. He was everybody.
That was a no go on our general orders. When we were downrange, and some of the young cats would say screw it. They get a tattoo and they wind up with this nasty infection. And hey,
I was so close. I was so close to getting something. I didn't know what I wanted. I'm like, here's a guy that works for me. He can do tats. He does a very good job. He had all the right stuff as far as equipment goes.
Prerequisite for me is I walk into the tattoo studio, and if it looks like a shithole, I'm walking out. Now, if I walk in there and it looks like almost a surgical room sterile, I'm down at that point.
This guy cleaned his
sterilities.
You know what chews are, right? The containerized housing units that we had. Yeah,
I lived in a couple of them.
so he had a chew, and he had half of it. The entire thing was his. And I'm not saying that this isn't like 1,000 square foot apartment. This is like 100 square foot room that usually sleeps 2 people. But he had half of it set up, and it was spotless and clean. The other half is where he slept. It was spotless and clean. He had the right equipment. He had he was very, very sterile, and he did a very good job. And I don't remember anybody having any ill effects from having a tattoo from him.
That's like the number one thing about getting like I see so many people get tattoos and they get infections, it scars up, they lose color,
or you get hepatitis.
Oh yeah, the hepatitis. There's even worse things like herpes and shit you can get through it.
Oh gosh,
don't even hepatitis. At least they could cure now. I think
I don't know. It's treatable.
It's treatable, but you get the skin herpes, you might as well just tap it out at that point.
You'll never get rid of it. Herpes is not curable. You get a cold sore, that's herpes. Yeah. Blah. So for our
mono is a form of herpes.
There was a guy. His last name was Sitkowitz. Danny Sitkowitz. He died from complications due to mono. When I was in grade school, up in Wisconsin.
That's never heard of such a thing.
I know.
You just get sick and that's the end of it. But I think every kid gets mono. I think that's like a true fact, but that's just a weird subject that we just went down the rabbit hole a little bit. So,
Holly says, look up Jay Quarles. He is by far the best tattoo artist in the Nashville area. I don't know, man. I'm not a tattoo guy. My brothers both have them. Both of my kids have them. My ex-wife has them. I know my
Dallas
dad
has some really good tattoo artists.
Dallas used to have what's her Kat Von D.
Yeah, so she went down to Miami, right?
She did.
Yeah.
So when you get hungry, where's your go-to place? Do you have you don't have a Whataburger in South Carolina, do you?
Nah. Oh God, I wish. The closest Whataburger to me is in Jacksonville, Florida. Actually, when I get hungry, my go-to is like an instant cup of ramen or something like that. And like when I say instant cup of ramen, you're thinking like the American. I've got like Japanese, I've got Korean, you name it. I got curry, I got tonkatsu, you name it, I have it.
I think Shin Ramen is probably my favorite as far as ramen goes. But I mean, it's like you're driving on the road and it's like, I'm hungry. Where's my go-to?
Definitely not McDonald's. I'll tell you that much.
So over in Ireland. Go ahead.
Oh no. Okay, I know where you're going. Go ahead. You go ahead. My brain's not.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the VAT tax, the value added tax. It's a tax added that is implemented on products within the European Union. Rates range between 9% and 23%. So it's the price of an object or a product or a service, then you add 9% to 23%, which is the going rate right now, and that's added to the price, and it's just a tax collected. It's called a value added tax. Subway has been fighting the value added tax in Ireland, and has had a case for an exemption under an appeal since 2006. Well, the Supreme Court of Ireland has rendered their decision. So Ireland's Supreme Court ruled that the starch used in Subway sandwiches is too sugary to meet the definition of bread. So the stuff that Subway makes it doesn't meet the definition of bread according to the Irish Supreme Court. A legal distinction that would have saved the firm some dough. Nice play on words there. In deciding whether to give the fast food chain a tax break for serving a staple food item, the 5-judge panel ruled that the bread's sugar-to-flour content is roughly 5 times too high to qualify.
Wondering what bread tastes like in Ireland.
For a company to be taxed at 0% under the Value Added Tax Act of 1972, the weight of sugar and fat in a bread product must not be more than 2% of the total weight in flour in the dough. So apparently you can't add that much sugar. I make bread. I don't add that much sugar.
This could give me a stroke thinking about that. Like, who came up with it? There had to have been some sort of like flour war going on for that law to come out. It's just like blows my. Oh, you have too much sugar in your bread. I mean, what's a like? I've had Irish soda bread before, and it's like it's palatable is the word, I think. Yeah.
It's tasty. Is it tasty? It's edible.
It's edible. It's doable, right?
Okay, I got you.
Some jam on that shit, no? Something to sweeten it up because it's an acquired taste at that point. I mean, I like Vegemite, so I mean, that's just where I go with things. But
I mean, seriously, I mean, really, take a spoonful or take a little bit of flour and stick it in your mouth. It tastes like crap. You're gonna have to add stuff to it to make it palatable.
I would not do that. You wind up with salmonella. Do not do that.
Don't do that.
That's the common misconception. People think eating cookie dough is the eggs that will get you sick, but it's not the eggs.
It's the flour.
Sick. It is the flour that gets you sick. Flour can contain salmonella like no one else's business. That's why they freak out about it. Huh?
Really?
Yes.
It doesn't change my mind. I love chocolate chip cookie dough.
Well, they've got edible stuff now you can buy at the store. I mean, even like brownie batter and cake batter that you can buy that's edible straight out of the tub.
What is that big very liberal ice cream maker?
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's. It was Ben and Jerry's. They do have a packet, and you can buy it. It's edible cookie dough. I'm like, all cookie dough is edible. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I've done it my whole life and never gotten sick, but our generation is a little different. We have a little bit better gastrointestinal resistance to things.
We're so contaminated. Our bodies just, especially us as veterans, we can fight off so much stuff.
That's like my roommate one time was freaking out because I was eating raw hamburger. I was just like, nom nom nom,
no,
end of the world. End of the world. I was like, I'm not gonna die from this.
I wouldn't do raw hamburger. Here's a funny story. When I was growing up, I must have been 10 or 12 years old. My mom had died when I was 10, so I was older than 10. So I wanted to make dinner for my soon-to-be stepmom and my father. So they hadn't come back from work yet. I came back from school, I did my homework, and I wanted to make spaghetti for the family. I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea how to do it. So I ended up just dumping raw hamburger into a pot, and then I dumped a jar of spaghetti sauce on top of it, and I turned on the burner. And it all
You had one big ass meatball.
it was just, I broke it up, and it was soupy. It looked just like a tomato type of soup with chunks in it. And, I made the noodles. I knew how to make the noodles. And, my mom and dad came home, or my stepmom and my dad came home, and we put the noodles on the plate, and I put the, this meat substance on top of that. My dad took a bite of it, and he's just like, Michael, how did you cook this meat? I'm like, oh, I put it in there, and, I just heated it up, and here we go. And he said, he very, very calmly collected all the plates and said, we're going to order pizza. I wasn't in trouble. I wasn't in trouble at all. He explained to me that you need to cook the beef first, and then you add it to the sauce.
You can't get mad at a good intention. You
No.
just can't do it.
It was great. It was a good experience. I was embarrassed, and I was sad that I didn't succeed. But I now I know how to cook spaghetti.
I always use sausage instead of beef.
I love sausage.
Nice mild or spicy Italian sausage in spaghetti is bomb.
So back to Subway here, since we're talking about Subway. It is the decision of the courts rejected arguments by Subway franchise owner Bookfinders. I had no idea that there was a company called Bookfinders, and I did not know that they owned Subway. So Bookfinders in Galway said that the restaurant was not required to meet the standard on to-go items such as heated sandwiches, teas, and coffees. And Bookfinders has demanded a refund for past year's taxes in an appeal to a 2006 case. So this value-added tax thing has been under appeal since 2006, and the court just finally came back with a decision. While shooting down the legal challenge, Justice Donald O'Donnell said that the definition of bread, and he says that in quotes, was established to distinguish the starch from other baked goods such as cookies or brownies that aren't healthy enough to be considered as essential. All 6 of the company's bread options, Italian white bread, Italian herbs and cheese, 9-grain wheat, hearty Italian 9-grain multi-seed, and honey oat, were deemed too sugary by the courts to qualify as a, quote, bread. According to the nutritional facts posted by the Subway, a 6-inch white bread roll has 5 grams of sugar, which is similar to that of an Oreo cookie.
Still trying to wrap my brain around this, but all right.
I don't know, man. I think it's crazy when government, and I get it. You own a business and you try to provide a product, and for the longest time, forever, Subway has eaten. I'm sorry, the franchise owners have eaten the value added tax. They haven't passed that on to the consumer. So now things might change.
Well, when the price of Subway shoots up through the roof, and I mean, I personally, if I'm going to get a sub, I'm going to like Jersey Mike's or Firehouse. But when the price shoots up and the consumers are just like, if Subway goes out of business in Ireland, I guess they don't give a crap. And, that's just the way it works.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a Subway sandwich today. My go-to, as far as Subway goes, is the chicken bacon ranch. That's my favorite. I have a firehouse down the street. When I'm down in that part of town, I do get the Jamaican jerk.
Oh, that's good.
That's
I like their Italian. Their cheesesteak's pretty good, but their meatball I think is on point.
Because of my age, I find it difficult to eat anything with salami. Really, really kicks in my heartburn, and most anything with a tomato sauce base.
I'm a glutton for pain, man.
Oh, dude, I hate it. Because I usually eat my dinner later at night, like right before bed, which is exactly when you're not supposed to eat your dinner.
Oh, yeah. And then you either wake up in the middle of the night with excruciating pain or you wake up in the morning just feeling like you want to vomit.
Or you go to bed. You go to bed in excruciating pain. You're like, oh, taking, popping antacids like it's nothing. So there, I've been out east before and I've gone to bars on like trips. I'd go to like a Marine Corps Air Station, New River. I've spent a lot of time there. I think I've got my own parking space out there, building flight simulators for the Marine Corps on some aircraft that they fly, the aircraft that I build. And
when you say building flight simulators, it gives me kind of like a chub a little bit, because that's kind of like a hobby. I wouldn't say a hobby, but an interest of mine, because I see it all over the internet where like there's amateurs building sim cockpits. And I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do that for a living. And you got the best job.
It's really, it's very cool. And if you know what you're doing, there's so much, there's so much that goes on between simulation and real. The labs that I build right now, dude, I can send you some pictures, but it's just everything that our pilots fly. Our pilots fly our simulators for the aircraft, the brand new aircraft that have never left the ground. They'll fly that simulator for a year before the aircraft is even built. So our stuff is so accurate that when they actually get into the cockpit and fly this brand new aircraft that has never left the ground, they've been doing this for a year. That's how accurate that we make these things. It's very beautiful and they're very appreciative. They know exactly what to expect. They know how the aircraft is going to respond from the inputs that they put in. It's amazing.
Yeah, like tactile feedback, and when you do your simulations, does it give you like feedback on the controls and stuff like that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And it's not even primary or secondary motion. A primary motion is the big the big movements. We do build simulators like that. And then there's secondary motion where you can feel like the ambient vibrations of an aircraft. You can feel
like
that
on the control, like
yes.
You can feel like turbulence or whatever.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is
so we program in like it's like a force field. Because the stuff that we're building right now is all fly by wire, so you don't actually feel that, but they fake that. There's software in there that it's called it's just they make the aircraft feel like it's a conventional aircraft. It's so very cool. How do we get off on that?
I don't,
because I've got a big old thing on the screen that
you started talking about. It's like, oh my God. So you got my nerd brain running there.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, because I was talking about I spent a lot of time out at MCAS New River. So we'd go to the bars after work or whatever, and you would go to the bar and you can order a Yingling. You can order a Yingling beer, and that was no big deal. You cannot go to a bar in Texas and order a Yingling because they're not in Texas. It's crazy.
Really? Oh no! They did that a whole movie based off that, didn't they? Smoking a Bandit or something like that. No?
Probably.
It was Black, though, I think, because they had some weird beer ban in Texas.
It's not even that. Yingling today is only in 22 states, but they are going to expand into to 47 states. So
that's good.
So there's a weird state in there, but then I'm thinking maybe Alaska and Hawaii are in that. They're the outliers, and then there's like some crazy ass state that didn't fall in line. But in 2021 beer geeks in Texas may no longer need to smuggle Yuengling lager across state lines. Yuengling and Sons Incorporated, the oldest brewery in the United States, announced in mid-September last month a partnership with Molson Coors to expand further west, quote, from its Pennsylvania home. The brewery distributes right now to 22 states, and it's planning on adding 25 more states. Chances are that Texas is among them. Jennifer Yuengling, vice president of operations for the company, won't confirm whether Texas is one of the states in the massive expansion. A spokesman for the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission says that so far the agency has not received applications for distribution rights or label approvals for Yuengling. As a family-owned and operated business for over 191 years, we have always taken a slow and very methodical and strategic approach to all of our business decisions. That is pretty badass. I think they're very solid. I've tasted their beers. I like them. I like them.
Mm-hmm. My favorite's the Black and Tan. I don't know if you've had it.
I don't remember.
I like dark beers. I'm a Guinness guy, but the Black and Tan is legit. If you ever get a chance to try it, try it.
Heath Barlow says Mississippi just got it 2 or 3 years ago. He hasn't had one yet. You should. It's a really good beer. It's the oldest brewery in the United States. 191 years. That is a long ass time. In a related story, when there ain't no laws when you're drinking claws.
Oh dear Lord.
Watch out, White Claw fans. A new alcoholic seltzer is set to hit the shelves in 2021. Molson Coors Beverage Company, as previously stated, entered into an agreement with the Coca-Cola Company to launch its first alcoholic beverage in the country. The beverage, called Topo Chico Hard Seltzer, is slated to hit the markets in the United States starting early in 2021. It's crazy because you see Topo Chico water, the seltzer water, mineral water, sparkling water, whatever.
I don't think we have that on this section of the United States. I've never seen that. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's yellow. It's a big yellow box that it's just bottles. It's like a Perrier. It tastes just like Perrier. It's the same damn thing.
Perrier is the shit. So
I like it. I've got 2 cases of Perrier on top of my refrigerator. I love it. It doesn't taste like anything, but if you add like a vanilla syrup, simple syrups or raspberry,
I like a lime or lemon to it. That's perfect.
I'll drink it straight. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, so every time I saw Topo Chico, I always call it Popo Gijo, like Santa Claus. Popo Gijo. Oh, yeah. The brewery distributes to 20. Sorry, that's the previous story. Molson. Topo Chico Hard Seltzer is inspired by Topo Chico Sparkling Mineral Water, a 125-year-old Mexican brand popular with consumers across the United States, including many mixologists. Topo Chico Hard Seltzer contains 4.7% alcohol by volume and will initially be available in a variety of 12-packs, including 4 flavors: tangy lemon lime, exotic pineapple, strawberry guava, and tropical mango. So the White Claw, I've never had a White Claw. I do not know what they taste like.
I had one back in 2016, 17, I think, when they first came out. I was sitting down on the dock fishing when I was still living in Virginia, and one of the local people came in with their boat, and I was sitting there talking to him, and he's like, "Try this," and I was like, "All right," and I was like, "Well, it's just like water, Like I was just like, "Okay, cool." It's like, yes, 5% alcohol. I'm like, oh, what? So it's very dangerous.
I was gonna say, this is the Topo Chico is 4.7%. White Claw is 5%. You are absolutely correct. Heath Barlow says Heath Barlow is dropping some knowledge. He says Ice loves Topo Chico.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Really?
Quote, this is a very significant step in growing our above premium portfolio and becoming a major competitor in the rapidly growing hard seltzer segment. Both key components of our revitalization plan, the CEO of Molson Coors said. Topo Chico joins the competition with other widely popular hard seltzers like White Claw and Anheuser-Busch's InBev. I've never heard of that one.
No, I know Budweiser has one, but I've never seen it. No?
Apparently it's called InBev. What was that other one? It was a hard seltzer, Zima.
Zima tasted like 7-Up.
Zima was 7-Up. Yeah, we'd always put. It was a good hangover.
Little Jolly Rancher. Throw
It was
a
a-
little Jolly
yeah,
Rancher
yeah.
down at the bottom. Add a little flavor to it, and it was good.
You're gonna love this
It's
quote.
really good.
You're gonna love this quote at the end of the story.
Oh no.
Atlanta-based Coca-Cola has already launched the hard seltzer in Mexico and Brazil, and they're doing extremely well. In September, Molson Coors unveiled a joint venture to expand Yingling beer far beyond the East Coast, and that's the connection between the two stories. Molson Coors, they're looking at branching out and getting more of a foothold in the beer / I guess alcohol industry. So here's the quote. I was looking up when I found this quote. It was, I don't remember. I think I found it on Imager. But there's a quote out there. Some guy says, White Claw tastes like you're drinking television static while someone screams the name of a fruit from another room. Is that accurate?
Yeah. It's not like, if I'm gonna drink something, I want beer. I mean, I understand the whole, net carbs. Everyone's worried about the carbs and they're worried about their weight. And I'm like, if you're gonna drink beer, just enjoy the beer gut, man. Just do it, man. Just enjoy life. You only got one of them. Might as well just drink some beer.
It's like they say, there's a saying, you only live once, YOLO, right? But that's not true. You live every day. You only die once.
Every day.
You only die once.
You only die once.
Exactly. Unless you're Buddhist, and then you get reincarnated into other things. So we've got some very exciting guests coming up. WTF Nation Radio. We've grown over the past several years, 5-6 years, and we used to be kind of off the hook and like that bad kid or that bad. Not even bad. It's just like, you don't associate with them because they're just, this is them. I think
call your CQ in the middle of the night.
we've grown as a station, and I think we're doing very, very awesome. We've got some pretty damn outstanding guests that are coming up on 5 October, which is this Monday. Colonel Joe Buccino. Colonel Buccino is no stranger to the WTF Nation. In fact, he was the first guest to come on representing the Army in an official capacity. He will be back to talk about the 18th Airborne Corps' Innovation Challenge. On Tuesday, 6 October, for a pop culture warrior with CQ, actor Ralph Garman. Ralph Garman is an actor and writer, and he's known in acts like Ted, 2012, Two for the Money in 2005, Eagle Eye, 2008. He has been married to Kerry Watson since April of 2005, and they have one kid. 13 October, I'm really looking forward to this one. Christian Brunetti is going to be back on the station. He's been on several shows. I think he's been here 3 times. Christian began his career in TV and film after spending nearly a decade as a member of the United States Army. He is returning as a guest, but he will be making his first appearance on Pulp Culture Warrior to chat with CQ. I love Christian Brunetti. He's just awesome. He does a lot of work out in the Hollywood area. He knows a lot of people. He's extremely well-versed in a lot of things. On 20 October, you're not going to believe this, dude. And I kind of mentioned this earlier. On 20 October, Louis Anderson's going to be on the show.
That should be interesting.
Iconic comedian Louis Anderson, the 3-time Emmy Award winner, is in one of the country's most recognized and adored comics, named by Comedy Central as one of 100 great stand-up comedians of all time. His career has spanned more than 30 years. He is a best-selling author and star of his own stand-up specials and sitcoms, and he continues to tour to this day. Performing to standing.
Wasn't he in a cartoon there for a while too?
I do not know. I think he's been in everything. He was Coming to America. Ice mentioned Coming to America, but here I am thinking I've seen his stand up before, and he's he's the fellow's like he goes to a buffet, and he's a big guy. So he goes to a Chinese buffet, and it's like, you've been here 4 hours, you go home now. So that's that Louis Anderson. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Cannot wait to see. It's going to be exciting to see all of these shows. It's awesome.
There was a cartoon. It's called Life of Louis. Yeah,
Life of Louis. You are absolutely correct. Yes.
I had to Googleize it real quick because I was like,
thank you for doing that. I know he's got his fingers in a lot of stuff. And his image is in a lot of things. So I've got a motivational quote. I think it's pretty cool. A true indicator of future success is what you do on days that you don't want to do shit. Going to the gym, running, working on your relationship, going to work, going to school, doesn't matter. It's easy to smile and work hard on the easy days. You got to approach your bad days with the same enthusiasm. Anyway, you can join us here on 4 days a week. We're here on 4 days a week, except for Wednesday. Wednesday is a Donza. Monday edition with Ice and Flash, of course, is on Monday. Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar is on Tuesdays. Thursdays, come back with Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky, and then come back here on the Fridays for Friday Night Freedom with Kaz and Pookie. Hopefully I can get my damn camera. I think I'm going to have to order a new camera, or at least buy maybe a couple of them and play around with them and see what works best. Because this pixelated Kaz is not really working. I'm going to write you a
script so you could just push a button and it just resets everything real quick, and then you don't have to reboot nothing.
which is really awesome because we can. Oh, dude, I'm gonna tickle your geek here a little bit. The latest flight simulator that we're building for an aircraft that hasn't flown yet. The aircraft, the pilots sit. They're tandem, so it's one in front, one in the back, kind of like the Cobra. You got the pilot and pilot in front, gunner in back, or gunner in front, pilot in back. The visual system is 270 degrees. So, yeah, 270 degrees.
I'm like twisting my head here real quick. I'm trying to figure that out. All right, that's like almost VR at that point. All right, gotcha.
five projectors. 5 projectors project these images, and it's 4K.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, no. There's 5 segments. It's I'm gonna send you pictures. It's gonna be beautiful. Okay. But yeah, it's all 4. These are 4K projectors, man. It's when we don't have our cockpit rig yet. So when we do our testing on the visuals, it looks like you can just walk up and pick like a rock off of the mountain. It's so detailed. It's beautiful. It's so awesome.
Oh, I gotta see it.
Anyway, everybody, thank you very much for being here. You've got a lot of other things to do. Hopefully, our little show here, in spite of my technical difficulties with the camera, have set your weekend off on the right step. Appreciate you all being here, and we are going to see you next week for Friday Night Freedom, hopefully. And you can always tune in on Monday for the Monday edition, which will be our next live show. Thank you all very much. Love you, mean it.
WTF
Good night.
Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Did you make a wish? Yeah. What'd you wish for?
Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.